Hey guys, this is Angie, also known as The Light. Like, subscribe, and if you'd like to make a donation, my PayPal information is always in my description box. I'm a little tired, I'm a little tipsy, but I said, you know what, I gotta get this video out before this information just completely disappears from my mind. I try to get a video out per week now, working on it. Um, this just came to me because I was having an actual conversation with someone who I thought was, or thinking who is, could be narcissistic. And this happens a lot, and this has happened to me with all of the narcissists who were in my life. And I can't remember what, the psychology term is, or what other people who are talking about narcissism describe it. I think it's called crazy talk. Um, just a scattered conversation, basically, where nothing freaking connects when you're talking to particular narcissists. I noticed this conversation with my narc grandmother, mostly with a lot of male narcs. Um, but this happens with all narcs who are in my life. But I just noticed it more with the male narcs that I had dated or like talking to or whatever the case, like getting to know in a romantic setting. Um, Crazy talk is when you're having this conversation with the narcissist and it's just nothing's connecting. You start off the conversation with talking about apples. They're talking about oranges, tangerines. They're avoiding talking about the apples. Um, and this happens a lot. And this, to me, is also part of a devaluing stage for them. Because if you are constantly having conversations with someone and they're always shifting off the topic, especially if you want to talk about something that is mature, issue that you have with them, something that's important, something that you want them to do, something that they didn't do, something that's bothering you, something that's on your mind, and you starting off with apples and they're like shifting all the way to oranges, that devalues you. And when you're a kind person, you kind of just don't want to deal with those things. If you're an empath or you're a codependent, you're not going to really want to deal with those things. A lot of times when it first happens, you kind of be like, what? You're thrown off, the first couple of times that you're having a conversation with this person and they're shifting the conversation in a whole nother direction. And you're thinking, okay, this is interesting. I don't think in the beginning when it first started to happen, you actually said, excuse me, I was just talking about XYZ, because normally most people aren't going to do that. They're kind of thrown off by it. And that was my reaction to it as well. Now when it happens, I really do take note, with people. I don't want to just label someone a narcissist, but it's something that definitely is a red flag. Mature, healthy, sane adults aren't going to just shift the conversation in the middle of a conversation to something else when y'all are having a serious conversation or even a casual conversation. They can, sometimes naturally the conversation can switch. But if you're in the middle of a sentence and someone just completely interjects and, you're like, well, my grandmother's in the hospital, and they're like, oh my goodness, I just bought these Donna Karan jeans. You got to see them. That is belittling you. That is being disrespectful. And the narcissist does this all the time. Why? Because a lot of times when you're talking, they're tuning you out. They're just seeing your mouth moving. They're not hearing anything. It's like, wah, 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 wah. Basically, like Charlie Brown, basically. I was having a conversation with this guy who I think is a narcissist, and he asked me, can we meet up? He's like, oh, can I take you out? And I'm like, listen, you know, you have a girlfriend. This guy has a girlfriend. So I was like, you have a girlfriend. So in order for us to meet up, it can only be business. Like, I have a book. So he said, oh, can we meet up so I can purchase your book? I have a poetry book on Amazon. So he's like, oh, can we meet up so I can purchase your book? And I said, yeah, if it's about business, sure, we can meet up for you to meet the, to purchase this book. But that's it. And another thing that they'll do, they'll just try to cross your boundaries. So this guy, this narcissist, I'm assuming, is trying to cross my boundaries. He's testing my boundaries to see exactly where he can enter, basically. So I said, listen, we can meet up, and you can purchase my book. That's it. It's like he didn't even hear when I said that to him, and he just said, okay, so we're going to go to a lounge and we're going to dance together, and I'm going to be able to hug you, and, I'm going to buy you drinks. And I said, no, you're not listening to me. He literally kept speaking over me. It was as if he just did not care what I was saying. Like I said, a normal, sane person is not going to do that. They're just going to be like, okay, no problem. Either we meet up or we don't. And every conversation I had with him, he kept repeating himself. He kept giving his wishes and his orders as if I was going to change my mind about where I stood with this guy. But we never met up or anything like that, because it kept being a back and forth. I kept saying, no, we're going to meet in a public place. It can be, something casual, a library, a park, a restaurant, but we're not going to a club. We're not going to a lounge. We're not dancing. I had to keep repeating myself. For anyone to just interject like that, it is very disrespectful. And I had another narcissistic person. It was a female friend. We'll be on the phone, and it was like, we're having a conversation. Or at least I thought we were having a conversation. And I'll say, I don't feel well, and she'll be like, oh my gosh, you know what? We really have to go out soon, and da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, I just said, like, I have a headache. There was, like, no remorse. There was no, I hope you feel better. You should drink some water. You should take an aspirin. It's like they don't even freaking hear you. Another thing they don't take well is you not agreeing with them. They will argue you until you agree with them. They have a hard time with rejection. And anytime I disagreed with a narcissist, it was just like they will keep going around the subject. They will keep circling the subject. They will keep giving more and more details until you agree with them. Then I will say, it's okay. We don't have to agree. But I disagree with you. No, well, this is, they'll keep going on and on, trying to force you to agree with them. Like I said, narcissists do not take rejection well. It's a narcissistic injury, they say. It could be something as small as, I don't agree Pepsi tastes better than Coca-Cola, or I don't agree, it could be anything, basically. And they will get pissed off that you don't agree with them. It's just completely crazy talk. You can say to them, listen, I want to go to the store. Okay. Go to the store. Then when you get ready to go to the store, it's like, where are you going? And I'm like, I just told you I was going to the store. Well, you never told me you were going to go to the store. All of a sudden you're going to the store. You didn't even ask me if I needed anything. I don't understand how selfish you are. And it's just complete craziness. And you're going like, what? And that can drive a person insane, because someone who's loving, someone who's caring, who, cares about people's feelings, they're gonna start thinking like, dang, like, am I wrong for this? Was I being selfish? Was I not thinking about this person? And it just puts them in that mindset like maybe they did something wrong. So please look out for people who do this crazy talk thing with you, people who are trying to cross your boundaries. I look for it, sometimes healthy people do it, or just, I had a psychologist actually do that, a friend of mine, and I was just like, okay, that's kind of rude or disrespectful. I would prefer that the person say, listen, I know narcissist is not going to do this, but if they're not a narcissist, I would prefer them say, you know what, I really don't want to talk about this, instead of interjecting and just completely going over the topic or my feelings or something that I want to talk about, but then they'll interject with something that they want to talk about. That's disrespectful. That's not a conversation. In conversations you share, and because you're empath or you're codependent or you're just a genuine person, you're not putting yourself first ever. So you're just sitting there listening, and when, as soon as you go to speak, your feelings, your words, or anything that's on your mind doesn't matter. That's not a healthy relationship. That's not a healthy friendship at all. So watch out for that when you're dealing with people. That's not cool. You gotta nip that in the bud and start analyzing people. I hope this information was helpful to you. Hopefully it wasn't all over the place like a crazy talk that these narcissists do. And I'll try to make another video soon. Peace and blessings. Take care.